Vanakkam. Today I am going to start a very important area, that is NPA verification. Before going to that, we should know what are the rules and regulations of NPA, how to identify NPA. I am going to cover in 3 videos. So basic thing I want to start from now, that is how to identify NPA. Before going to that, I want to say a very important thing. If NPA, that is non-performing asset, is not identified by any auditor properly, then the auditor is held responsible for the non-classification of NPA. Sometimes the regional office of any particular bank or zonal office of a particular bank will come and approach you, sir, don't give NPA. If you are yield to that pressure, or if you are yielding to that pressure, or if you are yielding to the request, then there is no other way, nobody can save you. So don't yield to any pressure. If you identify, if you think that that is NPA and it is as per the norms, then you have to classify. Otherwise, no one will save you. So don't leave NPA if you identify it correctly. That is the first thing I want to say. NPA, don't leave, don't yield to any pressure. With that, I am now ready to start with the NPA portion. First, you have to ask for the sanction letter of the bank, sanction letter for that loan from the bank. Then you have to go through it. What are the loans sanctioned? So is it term loan or working capital loan? Now I am going to divide that NPA into 2 portions. One is term loan. In general, if you follow my video, then term loan classification you can do it without any problem. And CC loan also in another video I am going to cover. First portion I am going to cover the term loan applicable for a customer. So how to identify a NPA, that is non-performing asset, in a term loan. Term loan, there are 2 types of term loan. One is general term loan as well as agricultural term loan. Now I am going to start with term loan general. How to identify a term loan NPA? There are 3 types of term loans available. One is for the land and building. Anyone can get a loan from a bank as term loan. For machinery also, you can get your term loan, as well as for the housing loan, and for other loans also you can get a term loan. So I am going to divide the term loan into factory, land and building and machinery as one group, and housing loan in another group. And before going to that, every member has to identify the NPA cutoff date. What is NPA cutoff date? NPA cutoff date is nothing but the loan sanctioned on or after that date, you need not bother. In case of leap year, the NPA cutoff date is 1/1/2020. For non-leap year, the NPA cutoff date is 2/1/2020. In case if 2020 is not a leap year, but this year is a leap year, so NPA cutoff date is 1/1/2020. So this is the thing you have to take in mind first. So NPA cutoff date is 1/1/2020 for this year. Now we are going to discuss about the NPA cutoff date. NPA identification with reference to term loan. In the term loan, there are 3 types of term loan repayment. One is loan plus interest. In the sanction letter, they will mention you have to pay, say if it is 60 months, so they divide the term loan of amount of say 60 lakhs divided by 60, and you have to pay every month this amount plus interest. So interest has to be serviced then and there. This is the first stage. Then second stage is EMI. EMI means principal plus interest you have to pay. And third method is holiday period interest plus EMI. There are 3 methods of repayment of term loan. So first thing, you have to go for term loan plus, that is loan plus interest. Second is EMI plus interest. Then Third one is holiday period plus interest. I am going to start with principal plus interest. How to calculate? So you have to take the sanction letter. From the sanction letter, there is a date of disbursement will be there. From that, you have to calculate number of dues from the, say if the loan is sanctioned say 40 months back, you have to calculate the total dues to be paid from the date of sanction to 1/1/2020. What is the total number of dues to be paid? Then you have to what's that? Deduct the amount, say from the total term loan. Say totally, if the principal amount is 5 lakhs into 40, say it works out to 20, 40, 10, 2 crores, or even say 50,000 into 10 dues, 50,000 into 10 dues, it works out to 5 lakhs. Total loan is 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs minus 5 lakhs, that is the amount that should be the outstanding in the loan amount. If the loan amount exceeds the due, then that means the principal is not serviced. If the outstanding balance is less than the amount due to be paid, then that means the entire amount is being paid. Am I clear? First thing, you have to calculate the number of dues from the date of sanction to 1/1/2020. This is the step number 1. And you have to deduct the total dues from the loan amount. Then arrive at the balance. Then you have to compare that balance with 31/3/2020 balance. If the balance, that is number of dues minus loan amount due to loan sanction minus number of dues, there will be a figure, say 5 lakhs. If the outstanding balance is on 31/3/2020, it is not 1/1/2020. Only for the purpose of calculation of dues, you have to take 1/1/2020. For the arrival of NPA, you have to consider the balance as on 31/3/2020. So if you compare, say outstanding balance is 4,80,000 rupees. If the dues to be paid 5 lakhs, then that means that's a shortage. Then that account should be treated as NPA. If the outstanding amount is, instead of 5 lakhs, the outstanding amount is 4,80,000. 4,80,000 means it is serviced. If the outstanding amount is instead of 5 lakhs, if the outstanding amount is 5,20,000, then nothing is serviced. So I want to repeat. You have to take 31/3/2020. 31/3/2020, the outstanding balance is 5,20,000. The amount to be paid is 5 lakhs. That means 20,000 is still to be paid. So then that account has to be treated as NPA. If the outstanding balance is 480, then that means entire amount is being paid. That account you need not classify it as NPA. This is the stage number 1. That is with reference to principal plus interest. Second thing I am going to give for the EMI mode. Same thing you have to do it. The thing is, you have to take the sanction date. From the sanction date to 1/1/2020, what is the total amount of EMI to be paid? That you have to add. You have to calculate. This is the first stage. Second thing, you have to calculate the amount credited into the account from the date of sanction to 31/3/2020. See, you have to arrive at the total amount of credit into the account from date of sanction to 31/3/2020. Then you have to compare. Total EMI to be paid on the left side, say that works out to 4 lakhs. Then amount paid into the account is 420 or 4,25,000 rupees. Then that means the entire EMI is paid. Then that account has to be treated as standard. And if EMI is 4 lakhs and the amount paid into the account is only 380 or 375, that means the total EMI is not serviced. Then you have to calculate that account, or you have to take that account as NPA, because you are arriving at the EMI as on 1/1/2020. Clear? This is the thing you have to say. In the first portion, and the principal plus interest, you have to calculate the total principal to be paid. Then you have to compare with the outstanding balance. Say 31/3/2020. You have to compare. If the outstanding balance exceeds the amount to be paid, then the principal is not serviced. You have to treat that account as NPA. In the second case, you have to take EMI to be paid, total EMI from the date of sanction to 1/1/2020, which is NPA cutoff date for the leap year. You have to add. Simultaneously, you have to calculate the total amount of paid into the account. You have to see only the genuine credit, and sometimes the bankers, whether knowingly or unknowingly, what they will do, they put some check into the collection, and that check will be returned. So you have to calculate only the genuine credit into the account. Then you have to calculate the amount paid. This you can easily arrive at, because banks now are in a computerized environment, so you can easily get the credit into the account from the date of sanction to the date as on 31/3/2020. Then you have to compare. So if you have to compare the EMI to be paid and amount paid. If the amount paid exceeds the EMI, then that means everything is serviced. Then that account will be treated as standard. Otherwise, it is not standard. Third thing, that is holiday period plus EMI. This is the third thing. In the holiday period, you have to be very, very careful, because in the sanction letter, there will be a column, there will be a sentence, or there will be an order saying that interest has to be paid as and when debited during the holiday period. If that is there in the sanction letter, then you have to take the total holiday period interest. You have to add a holiday period interest from the date of sanction to the holiday period. This is the first exercise you have to do. Plus EMI you have to add. That is the total amount paid as on 1/1/2020. This is the thing you have to calculate in the third mode. That is holiday period interest plus date of flux as on 1/1/2020. What is the EMI to be paid? This is the first exercise. Second thing, as usual, you have to calculate the total amount of credit from the date of sanction to 31/3/20. You have to compare, and EMI amount plus holiday interest exceeds the amount paid, then that means some portion of interest plus EMI is not serviced, then that account has to be treated as NPA. And if principal EMI plus holiday period interest, say if it is 4 lakhs, then amount credited is 5 lakhs, that means the entire holiday period interest plus EMI is serviced. So that account we should not treat it as NPA. So this is the thing. First thing, with reference to principal, so calculate total amount of due to be paid. Okay, you have to calculate the total amount of due to be paid as on 1/1/2020. You have to compare that with the outstanding balance. Say outstanding balance, if it exceeds the amount to be paid, then that means it is an NPA account, because outstanding balance is in excess of the dues. Say dues to be paid is 4 lakhs, and if the outstanding balance is 480, then that means your dues have not been paid. In case if the interest is not serviced, then also you have to calculate as NPA. Then in the second portion, it is EMI. So total from the date of sanction to 1/1/2020, you have to calculate the EMI. Then add all the amount paid into the account, compare. Then if the amount paid into the account exceeds the EMI, then everything is serviced. That account we need not treat as NPA. Then if the amount EMI plus holiday period interest, you have to do the same exercise. If the amount paid into the account exceeds that holiday period interest plus principal, then that account we have to classify it as standard. This is a thing you have to take care of it. and you have to see that everything is based on the sanction letter. If the sanction letter says interest has to be paid as and when debited, then you have to follow it up. Normally, educational loans and housing loans, you have to be very, very careful. In educational loans, the sanction letter you have to call for. In the sanction letter, normally what they say, interest has to be paid as and when debited. If that is there, then according to me, entire education loan will definitely become NPA. So you have to be very, very careful, and they will show that we have rescheduled this and that, everything. If that is then you have to go through the circular, then take care and you have to do it. Second thing, and with reference to housing loan, I can assure you, if any housing loan is given for the purpose of construction or reconstruction, I can assure you almost 60% or 65% of housing loans will definitely become NPA. This is because bankers, they are not considering the holiday period interest. Normally, you have to arrive at the same exercise. Holiday period interest plus, that is holiday period interest plus EMI, you have to arrive, then compare. According to me, in my experience, almost 65% of all housing loans will definitely fall in the category of NPA. So you have to be very, very careful while calculating the housing loan and educational. And even for any loan, if any holiday period interest is given, you go to the sanction letter, you have to compare. This is a thing you have to be careful with reference to normal term loans. This is a thing. And second thing is agricultural term loans, where we are all almost all CAs, they get confused. In my experience, I want to say a few things. Again, for agricultural advances, the cutoff date for NPA is 1/1/2019 for leap year. For non-leap year, it is 2/1/2019. That means any due falls on or after 1/1/2019, you need not bother, or any loans sanctioned on or after 1/1/2019, you need not bother. All loans you have to treat it as NPA. Even for the general loans also, if any loan is sanctioned after 1/1/2020, you need not bother. Any due, that is, if the loan of December falls due on January 2020, you need not bother. All those advances will become performing. So in the agriculture advances, there are two things. One is short-term loan and long-term loan. Normally for short-term loan, they use the word two crop season. The two crop season, how to define two crop season? You go and refer NABARD circular. They will say for each and every item, what is the crop season? For some agricultural products, it is 3 months. For something, it is 4. So everything is being clearly mentioned in the NABARD circular. So two crop season for short-term loan, and for long-term loan, it is 1 year. So these 1 year or one crop season or two crop season, the crop season definition, please refer NABARD circular, wherein you can easily find. Even this you can easily find in the sanction letter. Everything is clearly mentioned. So any two crop season, or suppose if the two crop season falls before due, that is before 1/1/2019, then that account will have to be treated as NPA. If now nothing is being paid into the account, if any shortfall is there, then you have to classify those agricultural advances as substandard. Same is the case with long-term advances. You have to arrive at, see, only thing you have to arrive at the due date. Suppose if any loan is sanctioned before 1/1/2019, and before that 1 year, two crop seasons, say if it is 6 months, 6 months, then it is 1 year. Then you have to see that the due date From the due date, you have to calculate 1 year. If that falls annual after 1/1/2019, you have to classify those advances as NPA if the principal plus interest is not serviced. So everything is depending on the sanction letter of the bank. You have to go and ask for the sanction letter, and same is the case with the jewel loan. If jewel loan, for normal jewel loan, normally it is 1 year, and as usual, from that jewel loan sanctioned before 1/1/2020 in general case, if it is not closed, then you have to classify those advances as NPA. And for agriculture advances, it is 1/1/2019. If any jewel loan due falls before 1/1/2019, and if that advances, those advances have not been closed, then you have to classify those advances as NPA. So you have to be very, very careful. Only thing you have to see, and you have to arrive at the due date. And at this juncture, I want to say NPA date identification is very, very important. Don't put, if suppose if you identify one account as NPA, don't put the NPA date as 31/3/2020. Suppose some advances might have become NPA as on, say, 17/7/2019. So if that is the case, then you have to mention the NPA date as 17/7/2019 and not as 31/3/2020. If you wrongly classify NPA date, then there are a lot of government schemes, and because of non-classification of NPA, those NPA accounts are also eligible for the reclassification. So you have to be very, very careful. NPA date classification is very much important. And the agriculture advances, only direct agriculture advances are eligible. For crop, it is eligible, and not for dairy. So you have to see what is direct agriculture advance and what is indirect or agricultural advance. You have to identify. For only the rules applicable as on 1/1/2019 is applicable as NPA date. It is applicable only for direct agriculture advances and not for the agriculture, all agriculture advances. If that is the case, if any agricultural indirect advances is being sanctioned, then you have to take the due date as 1/1/2020. This is the normal thing you have to arrive at. So for agricultural advances, you have to see for short-term crops it is 2 crops. For short-term loan it is 2 crops. For long-term crops it is 1 year. This is crop season is being defined as per NABARD thing. If the dues have not been paid on or before 31/3/2020, that is the due which accrues before 1/1/2019 has to be paid before 31/3/2020. If it is not paid, then you have to classify those advances as NPA. This is a 2 term loan rules you have to be very, very careful. That is with reference to direct general term loan, and with reference to agricultural term loan, you have to be very, very careful. And this is the thing I want to say with reference to term loan NPA classification. Please subscribe to my YouTube, because it will be useful to not only to you and to your friends also, and kindly share this video to your friends. And I wish you all the best with reference to NPA and term loan. Thank you.